Hi, I'm Cynthia Izaguirre, and here are your headlines from North Texas. Rising property taxes and the cost of health care are emerging as top issues for Texas voters this fall. In Fort Worth on Wednesday, Governor Greg Abbott unveiled a new proposal that he says will save employees and employers on their monthly health insurance costs. WFAA senior political reporter Jason Whiteley was there.
Yeah, less than 100 days until the election here, and making Texas more affordable again is now paramount for politicians. Property taxes and insurance costs have been rising for more than a decade here. Governor Abbott, for his part, already proposed eliminating school property taxes, which would lower property tax bills for everyone. He came to Fort Worth on Wednesday afternoon, though, to propose something else. Abbott now wants to eliminate requirements or mandates that would force people to buy health insurance elements that they might not use. These are things like maternity care for workers that might be in their 60s, a prescription plan for younger employees who might not use prescriptions, or perhaps psychological care.
So all the state-based mandates that are over and above the federal requirements would be gone from the essential coverage insurance policy. And that would drive down that cost of insurance dramatically for both the employer and the employee, saving more than $1,000 for a family of four.
This latest idea is contingent, of course, on the legislature approving it, and lawmakers do not return to Austin until January. Abbott's Democratic challenger, though, Gina Hinojosa, shot back in a statement this afternoon saying, quote, if Greg Abbott wanted to lower health care costs for Texans, he would have done it in the 12 years he has been governor, she said. Texas has the highest number of uninsured people and the most rural hospital closures in the country, she added. Abbott has no credibility here as health insurance premiums continue to skyrocket. That is from Gina Hinojosa. Affordability, though, on things like property taxes and insurance, health care, property insurance, and other types of insurance, all of that is likely to continue to be paramount and one of the main issues for politicians on both sides as we get closer to November. And right now, we are less than 100 days out. In Fort Worth, I'm Jason Whiteley.
Cyclospora is making people sick across the country, but health officials say we may not know the true scope of the problem. Many people don't go to the doctor for symptoms like stomach issues, diarrhea, or a fever. However, experts tell WFAA's Aaron Heft getting a diagnosis matters, not just for your health, but for tracking the spread of the illness.
Cyclospora, it's been a topic of conversation now for weeks, and though many believe they've been touched by said parasite, the medical community reminds us there's a screening process in place, not just for your health, but for tracking purposes.
We met with Dr. David Winter of internal medicine with Baylor Scott & White.
The cyclospora that causes cyclosporiasis is different. It's from a parasite, not a bacteria, not a virus, and it takes about a week for the parasite to multiply in your belly,
ultimately populating your gut microbiome, but it's not simple to find.
It's tricky to diagnose, but it's different than all the others. It takes a week to develop, and it can come and go for several weeks.
Having diagnosed several people, Dr. Winter explains symptoms are very different compared to food poisoning or something similar, further explaining an average sample or even parasite testing doesn't detect cyclosporiasis. Instead, your doctor will need to run something called a DNA assay, and it can take a couple days for results. But this parasite has been around for years. It's nothing new, and identifying it correctly is important.
We don't know why it's so common this year, but it is much more common. But it's different than the minor diarrhea you get from eating some contaminated food, some cooked food that wasn't cooked enough. That's different. That's a milder case typically. This is that explosive diarrhea. That word just makes me, oh my God, it's horrible.
They remind it's important to seek medical treatment when necessary and get an accurate diagnosis from a medical professional. In Dallas, Aaron Heft, back to you.
Dallas has a new sports star. Javier Chicharito Hernandez is the first player to sign with Atletico Dallas, the newest football club in North Texas, and what a first player to get. Richard Solomon was at Wednesday's meeting where they introduced the decorated Mexican player to his new home turf. Here's Richard's conversation with Chicharito and an explanation of why this athlete is one of the best.
Some things never get old.
The news for Dallas is just beginning.
And in a room full of press, months of anticipation finally led up to this.
So without further ado, I'd like to bring out Javier Hernandez.
Javier Chucherito Hernandez is the first player to sign to Atletico Dallas, the newest football club in North Texas, a part of the USL Championship League.
So for me personally, it's because I think my career and my feelings deserve to end my career being happy.
Chucherito is one of the most decorated Mexican football players of all time. He's Mexico's all-time leading goal scorer, having played in multiple World Cups, Gold Cups, and international competitions.
Me too. The competitor side in me, it's a switch that you cannot turn it on and off. Before signing in Dallas, he was a free agent, but he said it already feels like home. To these people to bet on me, wow, that's a luxury, no? The announcement itself is coming off the team acquiring Dallas Trinity FC, and not to mention fans still reminiscing the FIFA World Cup experience here in North Texas.
There's a lot of eyeballs on us right now, and quite frankly, that's what we've asked for.
Brian Corcoran is the club's sporting director. He says this is an opportunity to grow the sport even more.
Now, we expect to bring people in the stadium, and quite frankly, this project doesn't work unless we can do that.
Now, their first match isn't until March, but if today's welcome was any indication, some things never get old. And that excitement is brewing for the new chapter.
This is going to be an amazing chapter 2 that is going to just start unfolding.
In Dallas, I'm Richard Solomon.
There are plenty of places to satisfy your sweet tooth in North Texas, but if you've got some sweet teeth, Sean Giggy found a spot that's got so much to offer, it'll satisfy every single one.
You know what they say, everything's bigger in Canada?
The #1 dessert chain in Canada, wow, just opened its first American location in Carrollton. D-Spot Dessert Cafe does a little bit of everything. And no, that is not an exaggeration.
You name it, if it has to do with sugar, if it has to do with desserts, we got it.
Co-owner Abdul Khan says the D-Spot menu is so big, it has an index and chapters. 16 chapters. In the history of mankind, if a dessert has been created, it's likely on this menu. Drinks, waffles, croffles, pancakes, crepes, ice cream, brownies, cakes, cookies, fruit, and that's probably not even half of it. And it's all made fresh.
If I ate a different item every single day, I'd be eating it for years.
There are savory items like pizza, burgers, and Canadian classic poutine, but dessert is what makes this D-Spot to satisfy your cravings.
Anything that makes you happy, you come on over and we want to share the happiness with you.
I've got to try one of everything. So it looks like I'll be back tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day.
Oh my gosh, that looks so good. And those are your headlines from North Texas.